I have been saying this for years that I believe that we are in the golden age of television series, and 2020 continued that trend, giving us some amazing shows, and that's exactly what this video is all about. I'm going to be sharing with you all in this video my top 10 TV series that came out in 2020. Let's get into this list. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with another top 10s list, and today's list is my top 10 TV series that came out in 2020. I'm very excited to let you all know what shows made that list, but before we dive into it, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which you can find all those links in the description below. If you are new to this channel, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. That way you can get the alert from when I drop new videos. It would mean a lot to me if you all can like and share this video. It really helps out the channel, but I also appreciate all the support. And in the comments, let me know what are your top 10 shows that you saw in 2020, and let's discuss those shows in the comments below. So before I get into my actual list, I do have some honorable mentions. Now, these shows I really enjoyed. I reviewed them all, had a good time with them, but they just weren't able to make the cut. But starting off with my honorable mentions, coming from Amazon Prime, we have The Boys Season 2. We had a couple shows on Hulu that I enjoyed, like The Great and Love, Victor. And then on HBO and HBO Max, we had Perry Mason, The Third Day, We Are Who We Are, The Undoing, and I Know This Much Is True. Again, I really enjoyed all those shows. Check out my reviews, check out the shows, but they just weren't able to make the top 10 list. And speaking of that list, let's go ahead and kick things off with number 10, which I think is the best feel-good story of 2020, and that is Apple TV Plus, Ted Lasso. Again, I was so impressed by this show. When I saw the trailer, I'm like, I like Jason Sudeikis. You know, I'm not a big fan of soccer and football, but let's give it a shot. And boy, was I blown away. This is, again, coming from someone that doesn't really watch football, doesn't really watch soccer. I was blown away by how much I was invested in the sports aspect. Now, again, sports, growing up playing sports, it's all about bringing people together, right? No matter what walk of life they come from. I love Ted Lasso as a character. I love his coaching, his life lessons that he gives to his players, and Ted Lasso as a character is just such a fun character, a loving character, and I just really enjoyed the performance by Jason Sudeikis and the whole damn crew. You won't be disappointed. Give the show a watch. Again, it's on Apple TV Plus. It's going to put a big old smile on your face. It's a really feel-good show, and that's why I came in at my number 10, Ted Lasso. Switching gears to my number 9, which was a show that actually made my top 10 Netflix series, and that is Season 2 of Netflix's The Umbrella Academy. I love this family. I thought Season 2 was just as good, if not better, than Season 1. It was bigger, it was bolder, but it still had the characters that I love, and it even grew on those characters in regard to the development, their family drama, their complications, there's time travel. We're in the 60s. We got Five doing all the crazy stuff that he does. I love the show because I love kind of the quirky wildness, kind of the out of nowhere left field type of characters and their power sets. But this is such a fun show. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us for Season 3. And that's why The Umbrella Academy Season 2 is making my number 9, coming from Netflix. So switching over to my number 8. Now, this was a show that came out right around the same time, this time last year, and that is HBO's The Outsider. Now, we're dealing with El Cuco. We got a Stephen King book that came out roughly around 4 or 5 years ago. It's a fairly new Stephen King book, but I don't want to give too much away of the plot. But let's just say, again, if you know Stephen King, you know there's some supernatural stuff going on, some horrific horror vibes going on with this show. The performances were great. You have Cynthia Erivo, Ben Mendelsohn. The cast is incredible. It's scary. It's a thriller. El Cuco, if you're familiar with him and his folklore, it's a very fascinating scenario in regards to what the supernatural elements of this show. You have Jason Bateman attached to this, who I'm a big fan of. Jason Bateman, him as an actor, he's in the show, but he's also directs the first 2 episodes. It's dark, it's scary, it leaves you on the edge of your seat. And right now, Season 2, HBO passed on a Season 2, and I don't know why, because it doesn't speak to the quality of the show, but they're not doing a Season 2, but it is being shopped around right now. Stephen King has even came out and said, the scripts are available. We're done with the scripts of Season 2, so I'm looking at you, Netflix, or I'm looking at you, Amazon. Pick this show up. You have something good on your hands. I really recommend you all give it a shot, and that is Season 1 of The Outsider on HBO. Switching over to my number 7, we have on Disney Plus The Mandalorian season 2, which I thought season 2 was just as good as season 1. Seeing the growth of Mando and seeing his journey with the child and getting the reveal of the child's name. I don't want to spoil anything for those that haven't seen season 2 quite yet, but this season was bigger, but also still had incredible stakes. We get the introduction of some, let's just say, some other characters outside of the Star Wars movies, some characters that may or may not be on some animated shows. And then that finale, again, I don't want to spoil the finale, but we get a character that I absolutely love making an appearance. I thought it was a great story. I thought it was bigger. It was the flow of the show. The direction was great by all the different directors that we got this season. And man, I love The Mandalorian season 2. Can't wait to see what we get with season 3 on Disney Plus. But that is my number 7, The Mandalorian season 2. Switching gears to my number 6, I'm a big sci-fi fan, and this is sci-fi at its best. And I'm talking about FX on Hulu Devs. I am a huge Alex Garland fan. Annihilation, you have 28 Days that he wrote, and of course you have Ex Machina. He brings all that greatness for those films and injects it into a mini series, which was one of my favorite series this year. Again, it's sci-fi at its best. You have great performances. You have these storylines involving life and death, and are things predetermined? Do we have any say in what we do in our lives? It's deep, it's heavy, it's incredibly well lit in regards to the lighting, the cinematography, the score, the acting, the direction by Alex Garland. Again, if you're a sci-fi fan like I am, you will not be disappointed by FX on Hulu Devs. Coming in at number 6. So before I get into my number 5 and my number 4, 3, 2, 1, make sure if you all haven't already to like this video, share this video. Again, leave your comments below, your top 10 shows that you saw last year, and let's discuss those shows in the comments. So starting off with my number 5, this was another show that made my top 10 Netflix series, and I was very impressed by the show, and it had to make this list. I'm talking about Netflix's The Queen's Gambit. As I said in my Netflix video, dropping my top 10 shows there, it's Anya Taylor-Joy. It's the supporting characters. It's the story. It's a 7-hour movie, essentially. We're seeing this, again, I was talking about I'm not a fan of soccer. I'm not a fan of chess, but I was so invested in this story about a chess prodigy player, how she's dealing with alcoholism, drug addiction, having a character, you know, she had to become a woman so early at a young age. It's an incredible show. You all have probably heard about it at this point, but if you haven't watched it, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're missing some great storytelling, and that's why The Queen's Gambit comes in at my number 5 on Netflix. Going into my number 4, this was my favorite murder mystery of 2020. I'm talking about the one and only Apple TV Plus, Defending Jacob. This was such a great story. Every single week, did he do it? Did he not do it? It's such a great thriller. It's all highlighted by great performances led by Captain America himself, Chris Evans. I love the direction. I love the look of the show. I love the thriller aspect. I love the mystery aspect. I covered the hell out of the show on this channel. I have my definitive answer on if Jacob did it or not, but check out the show if you haven't already. Check out my reviews. I did a deep dive of every single episode. We even did a watch along for the finale. I love Defending Jacob. Again, this is another Apple TV show. If you all don't have Apple TV, you're missing out on some great movies, some great original shows. I was blown away by Defending Jacob, which was on Apple TV Plus, and it comes in at my number 4. Going into my number 3, which happens to be a season 3 of one of my favorite shows on television, that is Netflix's Ozark. I love the Bird family. I love all the family dynamics we get in this season, from Marty, from Wendy, from the kids, to Helen, to, you know, we got Ruth, we got Ben. I mean, the characters, Omar Navarro, the drug war going on. This show is so incredible. I love that, you know, at first, right, people compared this to Breaking Bad, and sure, Breaking Bad is one of my favorite shows, probably my favorite show of all time, and it had its similarities, sure, money laundering, drug dealer, dad trying to protect his family, all that, but this show is its own thing now. And even when people were comparing it to Breaking Bad, I thought that was a compliment, because it's like I said, Breaking Bad is one of the greatest shows ever. So I love this show. I love that we're going to get a part 4, season 4. It's going to be split into 2 parts. I can't wait to see what the Bird family, how this story is going to wrap up. But in particularly in this season, seeing how Marty works his way around the FBI while trying not to step toes on Omar and Helen. And it's just, and Ben, oh my gosh, Ben's character was so, it's just like a nuclear bomb in this season. I love Ozark season 3, and that's why it's coming in at my number 3 from Netflix, season 3 of Ozark. So now we're approaching the top 2. Now this show here spoke to me on another level. I was so impressed by the show as a black man, seeing these type of stories told on this type of platform, HBO Max. I'm talking about Lovecraft Lovecraft Country, Atticus, Letty, Ruby, Hippolyta. This was such an incredible journey. Again, this show spoke to me on so many levels, from the subject matter to seeing Black content creators, seeing Misha Green bringing us, Jonathan Majors, who just stole 2020 and his career is just blowing up. Journey Smollett. I mean, the cast was incredible. I'm a big horror fan, so seeing each episode dive into different subgenres of body horror, ghost, haunted house, monsters, Lovecraftian monsters, I was absolutely blown away by that. But again, it's going back to just seeing, I said it in my review, and I covered a lot of Lovecraft Country, and I've had so much fun doing so. But as I said in those reviews, this show reminded me of the importance of how Black Panther was to the film industry in 2018. I feel like Lovecraft Country was that same type of conversation, that type of importance of seeing Black people being represented in the horror vein, with HBO being backing behind it. Now, there isn't any word of a season 2. If we don't get a season 2, I will be heartbroken, but I do think they concluded the story well. There are some loose threads, and hopefully we get a season 2, Misha Green. But nonetheless, I love season 1 of HBO's Lovecraft Country, and that's why it's my number 2. Can't recommend that show enough. So we've approached number 1, and if you all know me, you've been following me for a while, you know how much I love this show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm talking about season 3 of Netflix's Dark. I say it all the time, do not be discouraged by it having subtitles in German. If so, you're missing out on one of the greatest stories ever told. I love time travel. As I mentioned, I love sci-fi. This is the best time travel show of all time. This has some of the best casting. We have different versions of the character, the adults and younger version. The casting was perfect. The acting was perfect. The direction, the writing. Again, this is one of the most complicated stories I've ever seen, but has a great conclusion in season 3. It is an incredible season. It wraps up everything perfectly. They even introduce, I don't want to spoil anything for those that haven't seen Dark, but it introduced something pretty big into this new season while still concluding the first 2 seasons. It is incredible how everything was mapped out, how everything played out. I love Dark. I can't speak highly enough on one of the best shows ever made. Do yourself a favor and watch Netflix's Dark. You will not be disappointed. So Netflix Dark Season 3 comes in at number 1. There you have it. That's my list of favorite shows from 2020. Let me know again in the comments your favorite shows, and let's discuss it in the comment section. As always, like, share, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my other content. Check out my other top 10 lists. I have my top 10 Netflix shows, my top 10 Netflix movies, and coming pretty soon, I will be sharing with you all my top 10 movies of 2020 and giving you all my most anticipated movies of 2021. Thank you all for watching this video. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you in the next video.